Hey everyone, it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of Nicole. So I'm just about to start the normal Jeff ending. So this isn't the super amazing ending, but this is the first Jeff ending that you will get if you follow the strict walkthrough for Jeff that I posted and will be posted below. So I'm just going to go ahead and start now. It's on December 20th. I'm out of it. I definitely have to be out of it. I must be, otherwise, why am I having such a hard time concentrating? I close my bio textbook and stare out the window, resting my chin on a propped-up hand. I've been trying to study for half an hour now, but I can't seem to focus on anything related to cells, life forms, or, God forbid, chemicals. And it's all because of him. Jeff. Even thinking that name right now gets me all worked up. I'm still worried. It's not like my last visit did anything to put me at ease. I can still remember how he gripped my wrists so tightly that his hands were like shackles. His face had been so close to mine too. Teeth were grit, but his lips were parted. I stop my train of thought and shake my head. Okay, what? I must be super out of it right now if I'm thinking about his lips. I run a hand through my hair, smoothing back my bangs. They bounce back into place soon after, though more frazzled than before. Studying isn't going to happen right now. I have to call it. It'd be better to just pack up my things and leave than stay here taking up space. Maybe I can go back to my room and watch some shows on my laptop. It's totally unproductive, but too bad. It's the only thing that I'm in the mood for right now. I start packing away my book, then my notebook follows after it. I'm pretty sure I have everything in my shoulder bag when I stand up to leave. Then I make the mistake of glancing out the window, and I see him. Ugh. Jeff's walking down the path by the library, blending in with the other students nearby. I haven't tried messaging him or calling him since that day. He looks fine, though. My chest grows a little warm at the realization. It's a relief to see. But while he does look healthy, Jeff also looks shady. He has this huge backpack on, and it isn't his usual one. And in the direction that he's going, that has to be toward the life sciences department. I shouldn't bother wondering what's up with him. But I can't help it. It's like I'm not even trying to stop myself from thinking about him. Jeff doesn't look like he's up to anything good. Knowing him, it could even be outrageously dangerous. Maybe this is all in my head. Maybe I'm just that desperate to need a reason to go talk to him again. Even if I am, my feet start moving before I bother to disprove myself. I bound down the stairs, 2 at a time, until I hit the library's ground floor, then I race out the sliding doors until I'm back outside. Jeff, where is he? I thought I was quick enough not to lose sight of him, but maybe I was wrong? Oh, nope, I wasn't. I look over my left and I can see Jeff's back as he walks way ahead. He's like the size of a speck compared to where I'm standing. I'd text him, but I know he wouldn't answer, and I bet calling out would only make him run faster. I'm gonna have to stalk him. Definitely unsavory, but it's the only way I'm going to find out what the heck he's up to. I pick up my heels and hurry after his direction before I lose Jeff entirely. Despite Jeff's head start, I managed to catch up and sneak behind him without him noticing. Like I thought, it isn't long before we hit the life sciences department. Jeff goes straight for the familiar building, moving faster once he recognizes it's nearby. That's where Professor Garver's lab is. That can't be a coincidence. Determined, I wait for a few minutes, then I head on in too. Whatever he's up to, I'm going to find out. Man, this makes me feel like a real busybody, but it's for a good cause. Jeff doesn't look like he's all there right now. I don't want him to do anything he'll regret. I go up the stairs as fast as I went down the library, leaving me totally out of breath once I reach the top of the flight. Shake it off, Nicole. The lab door is right there. I expect to have to break it down, but the door handle turns when I twist it. Weird, but no time to dwell on it. I push the door open and burst inside. Jeff's in there, like I thought, standing over one of the lab counters that's stacked with several books and notebooks. Those are a lot. Are they all his? And wait, what's that in his hand? I vaguely recognize using it in high school chemistry. Isn't that a tool used to start fires on the Bunsen burners? Flint something? I connect the dots as I spot several Bunsen burners lined up in front of the stacks. Ah, what are you doing? I hurry closer to Jeff before he has a chance to light anything on fire. Ah, Nicole, I had a feeling you would worm your way in here as usual. Are you crazy? Are you seriously thinking of burning all of these in here? Perhaps. Jeff laughs maniacally as he squeezes the tool in his hand a few times. Tiny sparks fly off for dramatic effect. It's not as though I have any use for these anymore. What are these books anyway? I don't wait for Jeff's permission before I pick up a book on the top of the stack. It's hardcover, and the cover has an illusion that you'd expect to see on some fantasy world. This is a book about alchemy? They all are, and the notebooks are filled with various notes I have accumulated. I pick up one of the notebooks now, and I bend the cover behind it to start reading. The lined pages are filled with Jeff's handwriting, pages and pages full of detailed notes. I recognize some of these things. Aloe, ginseng, chocolate. How did you find out about all of this? Hours and hours of experimentation. And now, with all effort, will be burnt into ashes as they should be. Jeff takes a huge breath as if to start laughing again, but I go over and punch his shoulder before he has a chance to. Ow. Put that thing down and step away from the Bunsen burners. You know you can't start fires in here anyway. I know at least that much about working in the laboratory. While rubbing his arm, Jeff concedes with a nod of his head. It was supposed to be more of a symbolic gesture, really. Whatever it is, it needs to stop. What are you even thinking? This is stupid. I told you, I am no longer an alchemist. I no longer need those notes or these books. It would be better to simply erase that part of myself. But isn't this really important to you? It used to be. There's no way I'm going to believe him if he says it like that. But after the potion failed, the potion I had dedicated much of my time and effort into, I began to wonder if it was right to dedicate so much of myself to alchemy. This secret part of me, the part that I cannot show others. I can't have any more trace of it. I need to get rid of it and live as I used to. You mean with a fake personality? That is exactly what I'm saying. I get rid of all of this nonsense, stick to how I was before, and everything will go fine. I can focus on other things. The only reason I needed to pretend was because alchemy was such a huge part of my life in the first place. Without it, the me I pretend to be will be the real me, you see? No, I don't see. I feel my arms shaking from how pissed off Jeff is making me. I've been doing my best to stay quiet and listen as Jeff spoke, but I can't take this anymore. Oh, will you get over yourself for once in your life? Jeff reels back like I've punched him again. But it has to be done. What he's saying, it's so ridiculous. Does he really think that it's easy to change who he is? Getting rid of anything related to alchemy won't solve your problem. You'll just find some other reason to pretend. Well, that's unavoidable, isn't it? Jeff scoffs and rubs the back of his neck furiously. People aren't as accepting as they seem. The world is a cold place, full of judgment, and if you don't fall within the acceptable parameters, you're shunned. I've avoided that my entire life because of who I pretended to be. And you cannot say that there is never a need to pretend. I am sure you pretend on occasion. I take a deep breath. He has a point there. You're right. There are times when you have to pretend, like when you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. But that doesn't mean that you should compromise who you are. You shouldn't let anything compromise who you are. Be who you are, and as long as you aren't hurting anyone, I make sure to emphasize that part especially well, considering it's Jeff. Then screw whoever has a problem with you. I mean, alright, let's be real. You're a little crazy, way too excited at times, and sometimes I have to repeat what you say to myself because I don't understand. You're different, we get it. So is everyone else. No one is exactly the same. We all have our quirks. So stop being such a scaredy cat and think that you have to please everyone by pretending to be someone you're not. Just be yourself. The world isn't as cold as you think it is, I promise. I pause and take a breath, then look at Jeff in hopes that I've reached him somehow. Ugh, stop. Well, guess not. Jeff musses up his hair and grinds his teeth like he's reached his limit. I can't stand listening to you talk anymore. This is all your fault. I place both my hands to my chest. My fault? How is this my fault? I didn't do anything. Yes, you did. Jeff runs off to the corner of the room like a trapped animal. You, with your kind words, your smile, and the way your eyes wrinkle at the corners when you laugh. Blah. I can't stop thinking about you. My head feels lightheaded whenever I'm near you. I experience strange sensations in my chest at the near sight of you. Jeff braces himself against the wall melodramatically and points at me like he's about to curse my firstborn son. I have no idea what you did to me, but you must have done something. I would not be like this otherwise. It's official. Jeff's dropped off the deep end. But wait, all those symptoms he's listed off, aren't those signs of... My heart starts beating faster as I consider the connotations. You really can't stop thinking about me? You're like a curse no priest can exorcise. Ouch. A simple yes or no would have been fine, thanks. Still, that was him admitting it, right? I just don't think Jeff has realized what he's admitted to is all. I better help him along. The thought makes butterflies flutter around in my chest, but I go for it head on. You know, there is one possibility. I swallow to calm my jitters down. It sounds like you, if you want to make this as technical as possible, it sounds like you have romantic feelings for me. I blush, then angle my gaze away at the last second, making my voice come out more bashfully than I intended. However, Jeff takes my words with a thoughtful expression, if somewhat confused. Romantic feelings, you say? He closes his eyes and hums to himself. A blush creeps into his face as he thinks more and more. His eyes snap open. Very well. In this case, allow me to conduct an experiment. Jeff approaches me from the corner, gaining speed with each stride. What are you doing? I gasp as Jeff braces his hands on my shoulders again, only this time his touch is softer, not hard enough to keep me in my place, but as though he's trying not to break me. I hypothesize that I do, indeed, have these feelings for you. To test this, I will kiss you. Huh? I freeze. He's going to do what now? My hands lift from my sides to shove him off, but they stop at the last second, just before his chest. If you want to stop me, you better push me away while you have the chance. His eyes look down at my hands, but I keep looking at his face. At the way his brow creases like he has no idea what he's doing. I think, even though I thought I'd seen the real him, this has to be the first time that I've seen Jeff unscripted. My body goes funny at the sight of his face, and it's coming closer. Something soft brushes against my lips, and Jeff has finally done the deed. I don't like the way they're talking about this. It's not a steamy kiss by any means. Our lips press together for what has to be a few seconds, tops. But the feeling it sends down through my body is electric. My hands fall onto his chest to brace myself upright. Before I know it, Jeff pulls away, eyes wide. You were correct, it seems. The sound of his voice sends me out of the dream. I imagine the sound of glass cracking as I pull away and wipe at my lips with my wrist. I can't believe I just did that. Oh, can you? The tone of his voice is playful, if annoyingly smug. I did tell you to pull away if you wished. It doesn't seem like you're too affronted about the whole matter either. I know, but... Be my assistant again. It's so out of nowhere that I wonder if I've heard Jeff correctly. Be what now? My assistant again. Well, no, not only my assistant. what's the correct word? My girlfriend? You would be helping me, so I suppose assistant is still accurate. You're seriously asking me out? Yes, I am. To put it in the way that cannot be misconstrued, I am asking you, Nicole, if you would like to be my girlfriend and engage in many romantic gestures that couples are known to do. Jeff takes on that excited tone that I've grown to know, and I can't find it in myself to say no. After all, when I think about it, aren't I the same as Jeff? Always thinking about him, getting all flustered by how close he was kissing me. I like spending time with him. I was super bummed when I couldn't see him. Call it whatever you want, but I'm pretty sure I'd like him too. I wouldn't feel like I was floating on air if I wasn't crazy about him. To put it in the most technical way possible, you betcha. Jeff beams as he hears my answer, and that has to be the most genuine and happy that I've seen him since the day we've met. He pushes me into his chest to give me a tight squeeze, but just as I'm about to relax into him, he shoves me off. Hey. Oh no, I nearly forgot. Garver told me he was going to be using this lab around 5:30 today. What time is it now? Jeff looks down at his wristwatch, grimaces, then shows me the clock face. 5:15. I look over at the mess of books and Bunsen burners lined up on the lab stations. You are so lucky we are dating right now, or I'd leave. Normally, I would try to disagree, but please help me so I don't lose my internship. The whole cleaning session was a blurred mess of trying to stuff things back into Jeff's backpack without breaking anything. It takes forever, and at first, I don't think we're gonna make it, but just as the doors to the lab open, Jeff and I are standing pretty in the middle of a clean lab. Ignore the overstuffed backpack Jeff hides behind his legs. Mr. Ryan, Nicole? Professor Garver, what a coincidence. As Professor Garver enters, Jeff gives me a look as if trying to get me to play along. I shoot him one back, like he really needs to remind me at this point. I remembered that you would need this lab, so I graciously decided to clean it for you. You can thank me later, perchance in the form of your appreciation? Why, thank you, Jeff. It looks great. You did a fine job. Are you feeling okay, though? You sound different. That's right. Jeff's not using his overly polite voice anymore. Oh no, not at all. I happen to be feeling the most myself in ages, don't worry. Of course, I didn't happen to do this all by myself. I yelp as I feel Jeff tuck his hands under my legs and place a hand on my back. Without warning, he lifts me off the ground, carrying me like a princess. What are you doing all of a sudden? With a smirk, Jeff leans in to whisper into my ear. Didn't you say to be myself? I have no intention on hiding who I pledge my devotions to. Ugh. But I didn't mean to do this. This is seriously embarrassing. And in front of my professor, no less. Professor Garver looks slightly bemused by the whole display. There are worse things, I suppose. Plus, I actually kinda like this. I might make Jeff carry me around like this more often. With a laugh, I turn to my professor and shrug, blushing. You know what they say. What are assistants for? Ooh, I got Jeff's special ending, but I'm going to save it for the next episode. So if you want to see the next one, click the eyes at the top and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.